Imagine my fucking surprise when I turn on the new season of Love is Blind this morning and see my fucking boyfriend. Yeah. Are you shocked? Because I sure as hell am. I feel like I'm experiencing such a wide range of emotions, heartbreak, jealousy, shock, rage. Why the fuck is my man on TV? And why the fuck is he on a dating show talking to other women? Obviously, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I still think he's the love of my life and we can work past this. So like, I'm not going to say his name, but holy fuck, this is just how I'm feeling right now. I literally watched the first episode. I had to turn it off because I was literally just staring at the screen like, hello? As an avid reality TV show watcher, I see this happen all the time with girls where they're like, that's my man on TV. How did this happen? And I'm like, well, that's kind of embarrassing. How did you not know? And now it's happening to me. Of course, he's in this pod talking to beautiful women. For all I know, I thought he was on a fucking business trip. He couldn't talk to me because he was working. Come to find out you're dating other people? Are you fucking kidding me? He's talking to this woman who has a child. I can't compete with that and she's stunning. Do I keep watching this season? Do I say something to him? I haven't seen him or spoken to him about this. Just don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I feel like all I can do right now is just like talk about how I'm feeling, and I'm just so hurt and I don't know where to go from here.
The streets are already talking. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome as most of you are likely new here. My name is Lex and I love talking about reality TV, pop culture, and anything else that is of interest to me. So if any of that is something that you love, definitely feel free to check out my channel, comment, subscribe, like. If you like my personality, if you like the video, I would greatly appreciate your support. Of course, only if you like the vids. If you don't, no worries there. But today we are back to talk about Love is Blind season 6, episode 6. So this is the last episode up as of right now, as of the time I'm filming this. I do believe the new episodes are dropping Wednesday, so a little break from recording Love is Blind, and I can focus on recording 90 Day Fiance, because that's another show that I want to get up a review for. So before we begin, there was a TikTok. There should be a nice little inserted clip at the beginning of this video if all went well. There was a TikTok going around that this girl who claims her boyfriend is on Love is Blind, he is talking to somebody. It is basically implied that whoever was talking to Jessica, because she specifically mentions that this person was talking to somebody with a kid. So it's basically implied that it's Jessica. People are speculating that it's Jimmy. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is fake. I think this is fake news, simply for the fact that Love is Blind was recorded. This was recorded last year, possibly even 2 years ago, because I remember hearing that Love is Blind recorded like 4 seasons in a really big chunk, basically in rapid succession. So this was recorded a very long time ago. Now, granted, it could be true that her boyfriend told her that he was on a business trip and it did not work out, but I have a very hard time believing that your partner was gone for like 2 months, right? Because this whole process is a matter of about 2 months, right? From the pods, then the trip, and then after that, the shared apartment. Isn't that all at least 2 months? And you mean to tell me that your man was just gone for 2 months and you had no idea? Now, more menacing things have happened. So I'm not saying it is completely false or it is a completely something that just could never happen, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it just seems weird. I don't know that I 100% believe this, but if that Jimmy really is this girl's boyfriend, if Jimmy is this girl's boyfriend, he's even more of a menace than I thought. Okay, let's go ahead though and get into episode 6 of Love is Blind. So in this episode, we start off with AD and Clay. AD and Clay basically have this conversation about what he likes about her, what they like about each other. They're sitting here at the table and the conversation of weight comes up, and AD is like, well, what if I get pregnant or and I gain some weight or something? And Clay's like, well, I'll just let you know that you need to get in the gym. I'll just tell you that immediately. And I'm sitting here like, okay. So all this guy does is comment on her body. Okay, let's start there. He's never complimented her facially. He's never complimented her personality. All he's ever done is compliment her body or what she can do for him. Number two, this man is so fixated on the way your body looks. He talks all the time about how the physical is so important. The physical is so important. The physical is so important. And it's like, that's great. I'm not even saying that it's crazy to want to be physically attracted to someone you're with, right? We typically tend to choose who we talk to based off of who is attractive to us, right? When it comes to the dating scene. However, that should be transcending like a relationship, right? You should be getting past that once the two of you are in a relationship, because as AD points out, she could get pregnant. If you get pregnant and your body changes, what happens then? And I'm not even sitting here saying that, talking about drastic situations, but like, I don't know, I was someone who grew up really skinny until I was like 21 years old. And then I hit like 22, 23, 24, 25, and that grown woman body started coming in. And girl, I was just not the same kind of skinny anymore. And it would have been crazy to me if, as my body has evolved and things have changed, that the person I was with was all of a sudden just like, you're disgusting, I'm turned off immediately, I don't even want to be with you. And this just really seems to indicate to me the lack of care that Clay has for AD. This is this pattern that I'm starting to realize where it felt very similar to Olajuwon and Katina. I keep bringing them up because they're like the most recent couple that really reminds me of these two, where it's like, you don't like anything besides what this girl can do for you. You don't like anything about her. You don't even care about her. All this man does is talk about how he's a big baby, how her body is so this, how she needs to help him, her. God, I can't even talk. Y'all know I can't even get the words out. He needs to help her reverse that. Y'all, I'm not going to try to say it a third time, but become a better person. She needs to help Clay become a better person. And it's too much for me, because it's like poor AD, like, well, I don't want to say poor AD, because you know what? The reality is Clay is comfortable for her. Clay is what she's used to. That's why she's attracted to it. She's happy. She's happy with it because she doesn't know any better. And they continue into this conversation, and AD is offended. AD is clearly offended. They talk back and forth, and the two of them end up just chalking this up to bad delivery. Like, literally, AD is like, I understand, it was just bad delivery, but like, and they're making jokes about it, talking about, haha, it was bad delivery. It was just bad delivery. And it's like, what do you mean it was just bad delivery? Like, this man literally said that if you gain weight from having his child, that he would tell you to get in the gym with no remorse. He didn't even care. There was not even an ounce of empathy in his body for you after that. And you are hee-heeing till the cows come out. It's just too much for me. So AD does admit in that same conversation that she doesn't feel like she deserves love. She doesn't feel like she's worthy of love. She has a hard time believing in herself. And of course, Clay has all the right answers. Oh, baby, why would you say that? Baby, you is amazing. Again, very generic. He can't say an actual thing about her that is amazing, that he loves, because he doesn't love her. But he always has the right things to say. He's always saying a lot, but at the same time, he's saying nothing. And that's just my problem with Clay. So this is really, these two, it hurts. It really hurts to watch, because I'm like, it's just the same old song and dance. So we continue on with Jimmy and Chelsea, and they are having yet another conversation as well about physical attraction. You know, they really cannot get over this thing. And like I said, they're both kind of saying it without saying it, that they know that Jimmy doesn't find her attractive. After the whole Megan Fox thing, it has just been a wrap. Chelsea is asking for validation every single second of every minute. Jimmy is literally trying to figure out how to say something without literally like tripping on his words, but he doesn't want to tell her like anything and lie. You could clearly tell he doesn't want to lie to her, but he also wants to keep her at bay, at least right now while they're on this trip. So Jimmy's asking Chelsea, what kind of men do you typically go for? And she says, big and buff. She said, big and buff. Then they ask her, would you swipe right on me on the dating apps? And they get into this conversation, apparently how Chelsea is supposedly edgier. She is edgier than the guys that he typically, or the girls, excuse me, that he typically goes for, because she has piercings and a quarter sleeve. Everything this man says clearly shows he does not find her attractive. I want to be very clear. He does not find this lady attractive. I'm like, if that was somebody else that came out with piercings and a quarter sleeve, you wouldn't be saying that. I don't know. I feel like he keeps trying to sow these seeds that he does not like this woman. And I feel really bad. I feel really bad. I wrote in my notes, I forgot that the South is conservative, because what is this convo? Like, I don't know. I never have convos with people. Like, as you guys clearly see, I have piercings. I have one tattoo. I never had this conversation with people about my piercings and tattoos. And I don't know. I've never like met a guy like when I was dating and like, you know, I would date within my age bracket, and there was never a guy that was like, oh, I don't like piercings and tattoos. Like, I feel like everybody has that stuff here. But I guess down south people are still like that. Because he was also talking about how his mom was gonna see her, and he would have to like explain, you know, that I love her even though she got piercings and a quarter sleeve. And I'm like, Lord help these two. So all of the couples meets and everything devolves into hell. All of the couples meet and they start talking about the size of their men, and apparently every single man has a huge dangalang. I'm gonna just leave that there. But they keep talking about the men and the sizes of the men, and I guess everybody's huge, according to these women. Someone said, compared to what? I forget who it was that said compared to what, but that was funny to me. So Jimmy basically says, like, to Chelsea, like, they're just having a conversation, and he's like, damn, AT looking good. Everybody noticing that badonk on AD. And I want to say, for the record, I don't believe that AD should be sexualized like this. I think it's kind of crazy that her partner's sexualizing her, Jimmy sexualizing her, Chelsea opened up this conversation for her to be sexualized. It's like, yeah, she's a black woman who's curvy. She has a bodacious body. But like, it doesn't have to be everybody's topic of conversation all the time. So Jimmy is all over AD, and he and Chelsea are drunk. Like, I understand everybody in this thing was probably drunk, but they was drunk. Like, those two were sloppy. I was like, oh, okay then. Like, them two was all over the floor, like all over the place. They were very, very drunk, the two of them. So, yeah. Let me say this one more time. Let me say this differently. I feel like I'm drunk and I'm not drunk. But Jimmy goes over to AD and asks about Clay. He's asking a lot of questions about Clay. And I feel like he's making it clear, because I forgot to mention that Chelsea Hall is out like, hey, AD, my man thinks you look fine, or something like that. And I'm like, girl, what is you doing? So this is my problem with Chelsea, okay? Jimmy's a menace. Like, I think we've already established Jimmy is a menace, but Chelsea is not much better. Chelsea is a mess. Because I'm like, girl, what? I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, what in the world are you doing? So he now has to go over and talk to AD, you know, basically to put that situation at bay, because she done yelled out that he said that. So they talk, and, you know, of course, Jimmy's asking questions about Clay, how it's going with Clay, how their relationship is. And, you know, AD, she seems to be into the combo. I think they were all really, really drunk, though. Like, I do not think that AD wants Jimmy or that anything like that. I actually don't even think Jimmy wants AD. I don't think it was that he was saying it in a way where it was like, oh my God, I want to be with her. I think it's the same thing as Clay, where they see her body. Obviously, that's a body that's attractive to a lot of men and women and people, okay? And so I think it was like that rather than, oh my God, he wants to get with AD. That's not it. So Amy is now consoling Chelsea because she's standing at the bar by herself, literally watching her man talking to AD, and they talk for a little minute. I know it's chopped up and it's cut a certain way, but they talk for a little minute, okay? And so Chelsea's just over at the bar, like with each second getting more and more and more upset. And Amy is over there trying to console Chelsea and convince her that he does like her. He is into her. Why would he be here if he didn't like her? And mind you, this whole night, he is with AD. He has not talked to Chelsea yet. He has not come over to her. And a lot of the other couples are together. So, she shouldn't have to deal with that. She shouldn't have to deal with that. But Jimmy is going around talking to all the girls. Like, he literally goes around and has conversations with everybody but Chelsea. Like, we could clearly see him talking to every single girl, asking them how their relationships are going, asking them how they like their partners. And Chelsea's just standing there the whole night. And look, like I said, for what it's worth, I don't like Chelsea. I don't, I'll be honest. I think Chelsea is very problematic. I think Chelsea's very insecure. But I think there's no denying that Jimmy did her dirty. If I went to a party and my man was there with me, and the entire night he ignored me, and then on top of ignoring me, went around and he was just talking to a bunch of other girls, yeah, you best believe I would not be happy either. So I'm not gonna sit here and fault Chelsea for that, for feeling some type of way about it, because I do think Jimmy was running rampant. Jimmy was definitely running rampant. So we do get a little meeting between the black couples, and they're like, oh, black love couples. And it is cute because we do have two, three black people from the pods that made it into relationships, which is nice to see. And yeah, they're like, it's giving black love. And I like to see it. Okay. So Ken and AD do have a chat. Kenneth, I'm sorry, I have him in my notes as Ken, but Kenneth and AD have a chat, and AD is like obsessed with Clay. She's like, I am obsessed with him. I am so in love with him. He is everything. I love him. And I'm like, oh God, help me. And Kenneth is like, yeah, that's my dude. That's my dude, bro. That's my dude. Yeah, you got it right. That's my dude. And I'm like, this is horrible. Like, this is horrible. Now Kenneth says that Hannah, is her name Hannah? What is his partner's name? Why can I not remember his partner's name? But Kenneth says this is his first relationship with a white girl. So that is interesting. I don't believe that. Sorry, Kenneth, but you're not fooling me. And I don't think you fooling anybody else. But okay, let's say that she's your first white girl. I don't believe that for 1 minute. And her name's Brittany, by the way, not Hannah. Sorry. But I do not believe for 1 minute that Brittany is your first white girl. Let me just say that. So they do have a conversation. AD asks about Brittany raising black children. And I actually thought this was a phenomenal conversation. I myself am in an interracial relationship. My partner is of Hispanic descent, but non-black Hispanic. And I am black. So this, I think, has definitely been a conversation. We've had a lot of like race-based conversations and just conversations about what it's like to be black in the world. And I think when you're choosing to be with someone long-term and there's the possibility of having kids, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not really in a position anytime soon to have kids, but nonetheless, like, if I'm with somebody, I'm engaged to them, like, we have definitely had these kinds of conversations. And I do think it's important. And I have already expressed worry with Brittany that I don't know if she's up for that. Brittany is one of those I don't see race white people. And the problem with those I don't see race white people is that they also dismiss your experiences of racism. And that is what really, really worries me about Brittany, having these deep talks, having these very intimate talks. There are going to be times where you're gonna have to break things down to your partner. There's likely gonna be times that your partner is gonna say stuff that you don't even necessarily off rip understands is harmful or hurtful to black people. Doesn't mean they're racist off rip. Like, I want to be clear. Whenever I've had these conversations with my partner, I didn't think they were racist. But sometimes there are just things that people don't understand about the Black experience if you're not Black. So I think this was great. I think this was a very good conversation. And I do think it is something that Kenneth and Brittany do deeply need to address, because at the end of the day, that is going to be something that is going to be with them forever. And I love how AD said it when she was like, Brittany, how does Brittany feel about raising a Black child? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how mixed your kid is Black. If your family has problems with Black people, your friends, your community, your Black child is going to have to go through that every single day. And that is something very strong when you're in an interracial relationship. So I think it was an absolutely good conversation. They do end off the conversation by talking about, you can date non-Black and that could still mean you're pro-Black. And Kenneth does say, I am very pro-Black. I am Black first. And I felt that because same, like I may not be dating somebody Black, but baby, I am pro-Black. And even within my relationship, I have always made it clear. I stand for Black people. I stand for the Black community. There ain't about to be no tomfoolery and nonsense. And I've never, like I said, I've never had an experience. My partner is not racist or prejudiced towards Black people, but I've made it clear I'm not going to take tomfoolery from anyone in your life about Black people. That's not going to work out for me. Who you date doesn't necessarily indicate your standings on those topics. And Kenneth, really validated like, hey, look, I am pro-Black. So I love this conversation. I really, really wanted to touch on it because I think it's very important for any Black person who is dating interracially. This is such an important topic. I could make a whole separate video just on this, but I think it's very important. So after that, we do have something happens, a joke about bean dip. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I literally have no idea what this was. I have no idea what this bean dip thing was. I don't really understand the joke. I don't know where it started. I've watched the episode. I've tried to rewatch it and I'm still like, I have no idea what this bean dip thing is. But some notes here is that Laura was really offended. Apparently it was between the girls in the lounge and somehow the conversation was told to somebody else who kind of spread it and told Clay. And I don't know. There's been some talks about it potentially being a racist thing, but I don't know. I'm going to be so honest with you. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what this is, but all I know is that Laura was very, very upset about it. Tired of people talking about the joke. And Jeremy is literally like, I'm going home. Like, this is ridiculous. It was just a joke. I'm going home. And he like storms out that hoe. So that was that. We end the episode off with Chelsea and Jimmy. So they are in their hotel room and Chelsea is understandably, in my opinion, upset. She is really, really, really upset. She's crying. Jimmy is taking absolutely no accountability. Chelsea is trying to explain to him what happened, what she needed. And Jimmy is literally standing there like, okay, but like, what Jimmy basically said is, you should have known that I loved you. I shouldn't have had to be with you every single minute. You should have already been aware that I loved you in the first place. And I was like, Jimmy, Jimmy, this man does not want Chelsea. Lord, this man does not want Chelsea at all. Chelsea felt disconnected. She was upset that he wasn't being lovey-dovey. And he claims, again, like I said, he claims that he knew where they stood and that's why he ignored her the whole night. This couple is doomed. Okay, I'm surprised they're even making it out of Mexico. I mean, they're in DR. I'm surprised they're even making it out of DR because this couple is a mess. But that is where we're going to leave it here with episode 6. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. We will be coming with the rest of the reviews as the episodes come out. So I would love it if you watched until here. Please subscribe. I would love you so much for it if you liked the vid. And thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys in my next review. Bye.